Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Wealth and Wellness Podcast, a podcast that's helping you get happier, healthier, wealthier, and hotter. I'm Kat, and this is my co-host,
Natalia.
So if you're somebody that's more willing to take risks and you want a little bit of unique experience, or you really want to break through of that routine, this is probably something that's going to be interesting for you, which is the idea of being a citizen of the world, or how to become a citizen of the world, or if you want to go through a moment of your life that you want to be a citizen of the world, what would that entail? What's the structure? And we're going to keep this really basic. We can get a lot more into depth about this. I do consider myself a citizen of the world. I have a
You literally are a citizen of the world.
I have a tattoo that says "citizen of the world" in my leg.
She goes, a tattoo?
No, but I really identify myself as that. I grew up traveling a lot, and I felt more at home at airports than I ever did
At a house.
at home in my house. And that's crazy to say. And there's some pros and cons to that. And I will talk about the cons because I feel like it's a very glamorous life, but it's not very talked about in terms of the negative. But obviously there are pros. And if you want to start, how would you start? What are the first steps? And we're going to take this super basic. Again, like I said, we can get in depth about talking about even if you do have a company, where you're setting it up regarding free trade zones, what countries are better, logistics, taxes, all of that. And that is a world that you can do hours, get lost in, and do hours and hours of research.
I think we should talk about that. We're going to do a separate episode about that.
Because we'll
I'm
talk
curious
about that.
to learn more.
Yeah, for sure. And that's something to talk about, but it's a lot more in depth. And it is something that you also have to be at that stage in life to get yourself there, right? Yeah. But if you're just wanting
a separate episode talking about that.
Yes, but if you're just wanting to explore and get a feel for that, get a feel for being a citizen of the world, what do you need to kind of pay attention to? What are the steps? It is quite simple, and honestly, I'd say just do it to try it out if that's something that's interesting you. So the first thing, it's what does that entail? First of all, when you talk about citizen of the world, so it's basically when your work, your home, your friends, they're not tied to a zip code. Okay, so think about it like that, is that you don't have a home you're coming back to every couple of weeks. You do not have a specific group of friends you're hanging out with every day. And you're not going to a job in a specific location or are tied to a specific location for that job. Okay, so you're very nomadic, and you kind of just go with the wind. The first thing that you'd need for that, which is the most important, there's really two options. One, you've just saved up like crazy and you're willing to spend during this 1 year, if that's how you want to go off. Because I do always say, try it out for a little bit, like try it out for 6 months or try it out for a year, see how you feel. Because a lot of times losing that stability of structure is gonna make you feel really lost, or is going to make you feel like you're going to realize, I actually don't like to live this nomadic life. I just want to live a life where I go travel here and there, like go on vacation kind of style, not being actually nomadic and moving around. And you need to get a feel for that, because it's not for everyone. It is very like a bit of a burnout. And I know like Nat has experienced that too. Sometimes when traveling, it's like, and I 100%. Have experienced that too, which is you'll be traveling and you want to go back to a base.
I want to add on to this that after high school, my family moved houses, and I never lived at the new house because they moved states. They moved from Texas to Washington, D.C. And from that point on, I didn't have a home base until this last year. Like, I hadn't paid for rent ever. Like, it was like to that level. I didn't have a lease. And after a while, like, you really, and I know, Kat, you've literally been living this way for much longer than I did, but there was like a 4-year period for me where I didn't know, like when someone asked me what's home, I was like, I don't know. Like, I'm here for, even if I was somewhere for like 5 months, I knew I was only there for 5 months. So I was like, and I had plans to leave and I didn't have plans to come back. So that was like, it's really interesting though, because by the end of it, like I felt more at home at coffee shops. I actually think this is why I have a problem with coffee, is because coffee shops became like my consistency. Like anywhere I was in the world, I knew that I could go to a coffee shop and like feel homey. And that sounds so depressing, but it truly is true. Like what you're saying, that like sometimes you don't realize, like, I think everyone should try it and figure out like, oh, maybe a home base, like maybe that's not so bad. Maybe I do like it. Or maybe you're like free spirited and you're like, you know what, this is it. Like I want to keep going.
Yeah.
So
Because you don't want to drop your whole entire life for something that you realize it's not meant for you. And that's totally
exactly.
fine. Like that life is not for everyone. It's really high paced. But
Yeah.
it could be interesting. So, like I said, there's two options. One is you save and then you just do a moment where you're just traveling
Yeah.
for like a year and you just become nomadic. The alternative, which is if you want to make it more long term, is that you need to make sure that your income is portable. Okay. And what
Uh,
I mean by that, which is the first one, because you want to make sure that you're able to sustain yourself, and that you are financially stable to be able to move, okay, and to be able to move around, because it's going to entail flights, it's going to entail like if it hostel costs, if you're really moving around a lot, and you can't get a lease for like more than a month, because sometimes there's restrictions and you can only do it for a minimum of 3 months, right? It's going to entail a lot of different costs and moving parts. So you want to make sure that your income is portable. So if you own your own business, or a lot of freelance work is really good. What people don't realize is a lot of countries have that 90-day period that you can stay in, and then you can actually leave and just come right back like a
mhm.
couple days afterwards, and it resets. Other countries before the pandemic, this is actually really interesting. I did not know this, that it was like less than 20 countries that provided a nomadic digital visa, and
Mm,
now it's more than 50 countries that provide that, which is crazy. Like you can get a
that's so
digital
cool.
nomad visa. So look into those options too. Like it is important. But yeah, make sure that the first thing is that your income is portable. Okay, so if you want to freelance, do that freelance job, go for it. If this is like, if you've always wanted, if you're a graphic designer, if you always want to try and do freelance work, maybe this is your time to try it out. And
Yeah.
first prove the concept, maybe a couple months before, try it out, prove the concept, see if you're able to get a client or two. I would also suggest have something saved. Don't go without anything. Obviously
Yep.
you can be bold and do that, but
You can also make your money in US dollar and go spend it elsewhere. And it's so nice.
exactly. So that goes straight into the second point, which is pick the general starting area. And I would recommend countries like Malaysia, Vietnam. Like these countries are such low cost of living. I mean, you can eat a full blown, like super nice meal for $2, right? So it's like 3 meals a day for like super cheap, even living accommodations, everything. Like if you're going to go to a country, and you want to have that the luxury experience that you're not able to have maybe in Europe, in the US, or in Canada, you can have that luxury experience for like
Yep.
a third or a fourth of the price in these other countries. So
Yeah.
pick your general starting country. I would say stick there for a little while, but then you can also move around. But try and see one has a flexible visa, which there are a lot now, and that you don't even have to apply, or you don't have to apply for a visa. You can just come on as a tourist. And yeah, start in a country that is more flexible and has a lower cost, because like even South Africa, it's way cheaper if you're
So
coming with the
much
US
cheaper.
dollar. So look into that for sure. The other one is just make sure that you are up on paperwork and just basics. It is super. My dog just walked in, but it is really important that you do really quick research on that. And nowadays with ChatGPT, you can just ask it. Also, there's an app called Passport Index. It is super good. I use it all the time, which basically you just upload the passports you have. If you have one, you upload one. If you have like 3 or 4, you upload all of those, and then you'll see with all those passports what's the power that it creates. Like what countries are you able to travel to, which ones require a
Yeah.
visa, which ones require a visa on arrival. Like do that basic research, because you don't want to overstay and then cause a bad experience for yourself, and it's your fault. It's not the country's
Yeah.
fault. It's purely your fault. So make sure that you have that handled. The other things, money logistics, nowadays it's a lot easier. I mean, obviously a lot of people travel with cash. I don't. I'm mostly crypto based, but I also do have a card. Revolut and Wise are two banks that have
Mhm.
um exchanges, right? Like I can spend my euro as if I'm spending US dollar. They're great exchange rates, multi-currency. There's banks like that that's super easy to apply for. You don't need too much. So look into those areas. I know Nat has Revolut too,
Thanks
because
to
if I need to
Kat.
pay her,
I have
I pay
the
her through
same.
Revolut.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, money logistics, it's honestly not
I
too
pay
much
my
of a
VA
hassle.
through Wise.
What'd you say?
I pay my VA through Wise.
Yeah, exactly. Like there are nowadays, you do not have to worry about that. Some people think about that. Oh, how am I going to do? Like I need cash and stuff. You don't really need it. There's other ways. Obviously, do it if that's what you want, but there's many other ways. The other thing is find a community. So the
Mm-hmm.
best thing, like you're gonna feel if you're doing this alone, then you're gonna probably be there's moments that you're gonna feel really lonely. The best places to find a community is through activities.
Yes.
Go to some kind of activity, like if it's a volleyball or if it's like paddle, or if it is like pottery class or something. Like look it up before, because if you're going to one of these
Mhm.
countries that the cost of living is lower, then these activities are also going to be cheaper. And do these activities. Oh, there's so many digital nomads living in these places. Even by like go on a walk on the beach. If you see somebody playing soccer there, join them, or
Yeah.
like different things. I mean, be like go out, make friends. Because even before that, like look up if there's any social groups or social clubs. Actually, something huge is internet cafes in these like,
Yeah.
countries. There are really cool internet cafes, and you'll meet a lot of digital nomads there because that's where they go to do their work. So yeah, just do a lot of research on that and be bold in going out and meeting people. And the best way to do that is through activity bases, like I said. You can really bond on that too, because if you're there, that means you probably like what you're doing, and you can start off with mutual common ground. um yeah, and then the last one, I mean, this is all like pretty structured. Like I said, it's not
I
too
love it.
in depth, but the last thing just to talk about is don't stick to just one place. If you're going to try this, really try it full heartedly. Like, guys, there are low costs that you can travel throughout Asia that are so cheap. There are like from trains to buses to other experiences, but make
Experience
sure,
the world.
yeah, for sure. Like, don't just go to, I mean, if you go to a place and you fall in love with it, settle there, don't stop there. But if you really want to live that nomadic life, go to these places, learn from these people, learn from these cultures. I have in business, I have gained so much value through the process
Mhm.
of me traveling, because I learned how different people react different way. I learned how cultures have an impact in how you speak, your body language. So if you're going to negotiate with somebody that's maybe from that part of the world, you're probably going to handle it differently, not handle it how you probably would at a Western, with somebody from the States or something like that, right? Also, levels of respect. The cultural has different levels of respect, and it just really broadens your mind, and your perspective, and what like it also causes you to understand people so much better, and really builds empathy, because you have to have an open mindset, because there's gonna things that are going to confuse you, and culture
Mhm.
shocks and a bunch of other things. But that is the beauty of it, because you will grow so much through that, and you will realize that the world is so much bigger than what you thought, but not only in terms of
Yes.
what is possible, but also how individual everyone is. And you will feel so much better about yourself and your identity, because it's truly a process of personal experience. And yeah, get to a lot of times that is the best way to find yourself and redefine yourself, because you're gonna put yourself in positions that you weren't before, and you're gonna see your body and your mind react to ways that you would have never, maybe if you were in your hometown,
Yeah.
because you would never experienced that way. So you'll learn a lot of problem solving. There'll be a lot of highs and lows. But yeah, I mean, I think everyone should be a citizen of the world for a certain part of their life. It's not for
I
everyone,
love it.
but I think everyone should try. um
I feel
so
like that was so valuable, Kat. I feel like you touched on so many really good things that, um, I hope if someone's listening to this, if the only thing you get out of this podcast is to realize that you actually have free will and that you can, I think a lot of times when you come from a small town or like you didn't grow up traveling or you didn't whatever, like you can forget that you actually don't have to do anything the way that other people do it in this life.
yeah.
Like there are no rules other than the ones that you create for yourself. So if you want to pack your bags, start a business, and go travel the world, like whether or not you decide that's right for you, I hope you at least remember that you always can and
Yes,
that you're never stuck.
and you can always come back. Like, guys,
And
it
you
is
can
not
always come back.
it is not, you should not feel shame, pressure, or any kind of thing to not want to live that lifestyle. It is
Yeah.
normal. We're all different
Yep.
beings. And even though social media glorifies that about the travel and this and that,
Yep.
the guys, there is a beauty in being settled and creating that structure and that time. And I think Nat and I, we've both learned that
Yeah.
recently. I think Nat more than me. I'm really craving that for for like a portion of my life. But
Yeah. And
it's
I think that it goes in waves too,
yeah.
because I think that for a long time I wasn't craving that.
Hmm.
And then for me it was like circumstantial. Like I just like I'm in a relationship and he couldn't travel for a period of time. And so I was like, okay, like I'm not going to either. I was still traveling, but like I had a home base for the first time, and well, not first time ever, but first time in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been really beautiful. And honestly, I've realized like I think that for one more year, like I definitely want to be more static and like have more roots. And there's beauty to that. And there's nothing
Yes.
embarrassing about that. And then
Yeah.
at some point, maybe I'll come back and be like, okay, I've worked really hard. Like maybe now we get to go travel, like, but not dirtbag travel. Like maybe now
Yeah.
we get to go and like be a citizen of the world in a bougie way. Like, I don't know. Like, I think there's going to be different seasons of life. I think there's seasons to grind, seasons to explore. Some seasons you grind and explore. Some seasons you just explore. I think that there's just, it's seasonal. That's the beauty
Yeah.
of life. It comes in waves, and wherever you're at, there's beauty in it. And I don't know. I'm very excited to see like Kat and I, like, I'm excited to see where you end up, Kat. Like, if you're going to stay nomadic or if you're going to end up settling somewhere for a little bit. And same for me.
Yeah,
Over the next few years.
I have some. I don't really know where I'm going next in life. I talked to Nat about this, and we said we should just create an episode of like, where's Kat
Oh
heading
my
to
gosh.
next?
You guys, some of Kat's ideas are they're good. They're good ideas. I
There's
can't wait for
none
this
of them you'd
episode.
think about, but yeah, I think I'm gonna go through a period because I need that self-discovery, and
Because
that's
you
where I
need
really
it.
found myself, was
Yeah.
through being lost somewhere in the world. Um,
And I think that that's so the right place for you. Like that is where
yeah,
you are and you need it.
yeah.
I
But
love it.
yeah, so we'll see where life heads next.
Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. If you guys enjoyed it, please leave us a 5-star review. And if not, then just DM us. We want to hear your feedback. Yeah, and if you guys are listening to the audio version of this, we have a YouTube version. It would mean the world to us if you guys subscribe, if you leave a rating on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, wherever it is that you listen, on YouTube. Turn on that notification so that you don't miss an episode, and follow us on Instagram because we would love to be able to inspire you on a more regular basis and join the journey with us as we're just messily figuring all of this out authentically with you, so that 2 years from now, when we've gotten so much closer to building our dream lives, hopefully you will have too, because you're on this journey with us.
Thanks, guys, for watching. We'll see you guys in the next episode.
Bye.